Welkom bij de webinar van ITNX en AGA. Mijn naam is Annelies Hartman en ook aanwezig is Yves. Allereerst wil ik samen met u verifiëren dat de webinar goed te bestaan is. Als u mij kan horen mag u op de knop Raise Your Hand klikken. Overigens kunt u niet zelf spreken, maar u kunt wel eventuele vragen stellen via uw scherm. Wij zullen niet in de gelegenheid zijn om al uw vragen te beantwoorden. En wanneer u nog vragen heeft na deze webinar, kunt u natuurlijk altijd contact met ons opnemen. Deze webinar doen wij in samenwerking met AGA. En alvorens te starten zal ik eerst kort even vertellen over ITNX. Daarna even over AGA en vervolgens geef ik het woord aan Yves van AGA voor de verdere uitleg. Yves zal verder gaan in het Engels. ITNX is een multidisciplinair adviesbureau op het gebied van BIM. En van ontwerp naar realisatie en beheer helpen wij u het meest uit uw BIM-modellen te halen. ITNX bestaat sinds 1996 en we hebben meer dan 6000 CAD-werkplekken in Nederland. Ooit begonnen met Autodesk AutoCAD werkplekken en tegenwoordig implementeren we BIM bij bedrijven door heel Nederland. En met onze kennis van processen, materie en producten kunnen wij u helpen uw projecten te verbeteren. We zijn een authorized Autodesk reseller en we staan in de top 20 van de Autodesk Hiermee, Europe, Middle East en Afrika. Naast de software van Autodesk hebben wij zelf Smart Revit. Misschien bent u hier al wel bekend mee. Er is een schilletje rondom Revit waarin wij processen willen versnellen in Revit. Ook framing in Revit kan meerwaarde bieden voor uw project en daarvoor is deze webinar bedoeld. AGA is een ontwikkelaar van Revit add-ons met meer dan 5000 licenties in meer dan 79 landen. En het doel van AGA is ervoor te zorgen dat u als gebruiker meer profijt haalt uit de workflow. En hiermee wordt ingezet op het versnellen en het wegnemen van verspillingen. Dan zal ik nu het woord geven aan Yves. Yves, you can switch to your screen to start with your part of the presentation.
Yes, okay, thank you for presenting me. I will switch on. So now yes, okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I think I can see your screen. You have the same presentation as I have.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah.
So thank you again for presenting me, and I'd like to mention that if you will have any questions, you can write them down in the GoToWebinar dialog under questions, and in the end of the webinar, I will try to answer them. And this webinar will be about the latest advances for wood and metal framing in Revit. And AGA-CAD's mission is building BIM together, which means that we align our clients' needs and develop solutions for continuous BIM acceleration. And our promise to clients is reducing BIM stress. We help to eliminate tasks that do not create value. And this webinar will be about our framing software, and in this webinar, you'll learn how to frame walls, floors, and roofs, including main framing, nailers, and sidings, split an architect's created roof into roof panels, align studs by the project base points, create unique headers and cells, easily generate sheeting layouts at complex dimension with new dimensioning technology, smart dimensions, and create shop drawings with sub-assemblies and detail views. Also calculate gravity points for wall, floor, and roof panels. Okay, so I have my project open and we can continue with the live demo. Newly released versions of Wood and Metal Framing Wall, Floor and Roof Plus contain a new option that allows you to position studs and joists not only in relation to each other, but according to the project base point. Previously, studs or joists had to be spaced following a predefined pattern, let's say 60 centimeters apart within each wall panel or floor panel. But from now on, with the new Align with Project Base Point feature, you can space and align all your studs at the same time. Project Base Point handles positioning in a more robust manner than before. In addition to defining the spacing between studs, you also define the same value for the grid spacing and the function take care of the rest. So as you can see right here, I have turned on my work plane visibility, because then it's more clear for me where the studs should be placed, because I can see the grid, and also I have placed my project base point in the intersection of the grid. Yes, and right now I will show you the configuration for the walls. So right here, as you can see, we have a feature aligned with project base point. So I have it turned it off right now. So all my wall frames will be aligned by the project base point. The same goes for the floor panels and the roof panels. Yes, so now as you can see, all these framed walls have studs aligned by the project base point in all project. So now, for example, I will frame these two walls, and now the tool is adding the main frame by our created configuration, and also you'll see how the studs will be aligned by the project base point. Yes, okay, and I can see that the studs are added, and as you can see, all of these studs are aligned by the project base point. And I can just take a look at the 3D view as well. Yes, and I just framed these two walls. I added the main frame, and everything is correct. Also, I can do the same for my floors. So I will take my floor framing tool, and for example, I will select this floor panel and I will frame it, and you will see how the floor joists will be aligned by the project base point as well. And yeah, they're aligned, and all other walls in my project are aligned as well. And the same goes for the roof. Yes, I have one empty panel of my roof right here, but before framing this roof panel, I want to mention that this roof was splitted with our tool, roof panel layout. Yes, here is a 3D view created for that. Okay. I will isolate these elements, and roof panel layout automatically generates panel layout planning for any architectural roof. It uses predefined rules to draw symbolic lines indicating the future panels, and then it creates real roof panels. And these roof panels can later be framed using wood framing prefabricated roof tool. So now I will go to my frame view, and as you can see, this roof was splitted to actual roof panels by roof panel layout, and now we can frame these panels. So I will take my roof panel frame tool, and I will frame this roof panel, and you'll be able to see that the joists will be also aligned with the project base point. Okay, my roof panel was framed, and I will go to the roof plan view, and this is the panel that I've just framed. This is the panel, and as you can see, the joists are aligned with the project base point, and as well as all other roof joists that been framed previously, all of them are aligned with the project base point. I will go back to my 3D view, and let's talk about custom headers now, sill plates and top plate supports. Previously, you had to choose from our created headers. But from now on, you can create any type of header, sill, or top plate support and save it under its own name for future projects. Your custom configurations can also be shared with your colleagues. So now, let's take a look at those configurations. Yes, I will go to the maybe actually I will just modify frames and go to modify opening framing, and I will modify a header above this opening. So I can see right here that I can choose from the most popular types that have already been created, and they come together with the software, but from now on you can create your own. You have to choose custom header type right here and then go to custom header tab. And right here you can create your own configurations, save it with your own name, and use them later as well. So let's say that I want to modify this header, and yeah, this dialog conveniently lets you predefine each plate type and its position. A plate can be rotated by 90 or 180 degrees and added to the external, internal, or middle wall layer. And additionally, there is a feature which allows a plate to be aligned with the previous element, but we cannot see it right here, so I'll just, for example, turn on some kind of default configuration. Yes, so for example, this plate, as you can see, we can align it to the previous element, end, or start. So you may select a specific type with predefined sizes from the project, or you may define the depth by the layer thickness. And your predefined scheme can be seen in the symbolic preview. So for example, now I will try to create a new header type by this default configuration that again comes together with the software. So I will duplicate it and I will create my own unique name. So for example, default configuration, and I will add, let's say, 5 elements. So I will just name it 5 for now. Okay, and now let's say I will add 2 of these elements. Yes, I will not change anything at all right here. And for this one, yes, I will add a new item, and I will say that its depth should be defined by the core. Also, I want to rotate it by 90 degrees and 180 degrees. I want to add it to the external side of the wall, and also I do not want to align it to the previous element's end. Yes, I want to align it to the previous element start, so I will select this one, and I will add another element. Yes, again, I will define it by the core, and I will rotate it by 180 degrees, and that's about it. I'm happy with my header. I will save it. Okay, and I will use it, and now the software is updating this header above this opening, and I can see that the header was created. Yes, and my custom header type was added. And the same goes for the floor or roofs openings, headers, sill plates, and top plate support. So for example, again, I can modify a header above a roof opening. So again, I will go to modify opening framing. Yes, I will click on this header, go to the header 2, second header, and also I will choose custom header type, go to my custom header type. I will turn on the default configuration for a quick start. I will add 2 of these elements, and I will add another element. I will define it by the core. I will rotate it by 180 degrees, and let's say that's it. Let's say I'm happy with my header. So I will hit OK, and the tool will update the header above this opening. And as you can see, the header was updated. It's very easy. Okay, and also more flexible options to control additional bridging, knogging, and blocking have been added. So now you can predefine an offset from the selected element or a connected element. For example, I will add additional elements from the shorter connected elements end, and I will use add additional bridging, knogging, and blocking. I will select this element and this element. Okay, and let's say I will add from the shorter connected elements end, I will offset from the top by 400, and the second element will be offsetted by 800. Yes, and I will add 2 elements, and that's about it. Okay. And now the tool is adding the additional bridging, plugging, and nogging by my selected rules. Okay, and I can see that it was added. And also I created a section view for this wall, so we could see it better. Yes, and these are my additional elements that I've just added, and I can check that. Yes, I can see. Yes. From this element top. No, from the first element top. Yeah, 400, and from the second one it's 800. So they were added by my created rules. I will turn on the continuous style. Yes, 400 and 800. I will go back to the 3D view, and of course additional elements can also be added for the floor and for the roof. Okay, now let's talk about the details. From now on, rules for details are separate from the frame configuration, giving you much more flexibility. Previously, you had to predefine detail distribution rules for each and every frame configuration one by one, even if they were identical. Also, you couldn't make multiple detail configurations for one wall type, and luckily that has now changed. So let's take a look at the configurations. From now on, they can be found in Add Elements Details configurations. So from now on, these configurations are right here, and the best workflow is to add them later after you frame the wall. But of course, if you want to add the details when you frame the wall, like before, in the framing configuration, in the modify settings, you have to turn on this tick mark, add details with frame wall command, so it's still possible, and the tool will choose the detail configuration that name is identical to the framing configuration name. So if you want to add it, you can still add it when you frame the wall, but we recommend to add them later. So now I will add the details. So let's say that for this wall type, I have 2 identical wall types, but for this wall, in the first floor, I want to add details by one configuration, and for this wall, I want to add details by another configuration. So I will use command add details. So I will use command add details. I will select this frame. Yes, and I will use this configuration that I've created for this frame. Yes, but you know what? I just noticed that I haven't added an offset for this frame. Modify wall framing. I will just take a look. Yes, modify settings. Maybe I will add it to this wall right now. So I will add details by this configuration. Yes, I created different configurations for top plate details, and I used Simpson details for this example. So these details were added to this wall, and I will add different detail configuration for my wall in the second floor. So as you can see, different details were added. Okay, and now I can add additional layers to my wall. So we can add secondary frame, we can add nailers, siding, or we can just add all additional layers in one time. But for now, I will just add it one by one. So I will add the nailers to this wall. Yes, and now the tool is adding horizontal nailers by the configuration. The horizontal nailers are added, and also I will split the sheeting and paneling parts. And in order to see the sheeting, I will have to turn on the Show Parts view in Revit, because sheeting is created as Revit parts. Yes, and I can see the sheeting was split in my wall panel. So I will go back to the original view now, and I will, let's say, add the siding. Okay, the tool is adding the siding, and then I will sort those structural framing elements. I will use function sort structural framing by mark, and all of those marks will be written in the framing members families. Okay, so I can, for example, select this element, and I can see that it was marked automatically. Okay. And now we can start to create shop drawings. New features for creating shop drawings were also added to the new framing software. Shop drawings are created automatically by our predefined rules in the shop drawing configuration. So I will go to the shop drawing configuration. And this is my configuration. So an option to insert gravity point was added to the wood framing software. So you just have to tick insert gravity point tick mark right here, and also you can check in which views the gravity point will be visible. So in this example, I checked the elevation frame front view and the detail views frame front view. So we will be able to see the gravity point when we'll create the assembly. And also another feature, view number, was added to the new framing software. So finally, we'll be able to create several identical assembly views. That means that you can use the same view template, yes, the same view template for, let's say, 2 frame front views or sections, and then add different dimensions to them. In the past, the views had to be different, so you had to, for example, duplicate view templates in order for them to have distinct names, and thanks to the view number column, however, views can be identical. All you need to do is number them. So for this example, I created two elevation back views that are identical and 2 elevation front views, but in this elevation front view, also one view is the detail view, and in this example for elevation back views, these 2 views are identical completely, just that I will use a different dimensioning rule. So for one of them I will use sheeting rule, and for other one I will use frame dimensioning rule. Okay. And also we can create detail views. When laying out shop drawings, users can now display not only simple assembly views but can create detail views of an assembly. With a simple assembly view, you can see only assembly itself in isolation from other parts with which interacts. Detail views lets you see how a given assembly relates to walls, floors, elevation, grids, and etc. in the whole project. It allows you to make shop drawings in the regular Revit project view so that you can see how other elements interact with the assembly in question. So we'll be able to see that when we'll create the assembly. Okay, and another new feature is sub-assembly views. So from now on, we can create a view with a sub-assembly. So in this example, I created an elevation front view for the opening frames. So all you have to do is add a view template for the framing modules, and these view templates can be downloaded in a sample project from our eHelp page. So you will just transfer with by Transfer Project Standards Revit feature these view templates, and you will just add these view templates in the view template column, and you'll create a view with a subassembly. So we'll just see that in a minute as well. And now shop drawings can be created. Okay, I will save it. And I've created a few assemblies already. So this is the assembly I've created for the wall, and I believe, yes, this is these walls assembly. So yeah, here I have a 3D view, the assembly front view, and so on. And what I want to show you before creating a new assembly by that configuration that we just saw is smart dimensions. Because from now on, you'll also be able to add customizable complex dimensions with completely new dimensioning technology, smart dimensions. Yes, so here is our smart dimensions technology. Although in the past you could also add dimensions to our shop drawing automatically, with new smart dimensions technology you can configure them from the simplest variations where dimensions will be added only to a predefined layer to more complex variations where all layers will be dimensioned. With smart dimensions, you'll be able to automatically dimension structural framing elements, point-based elements, parts, columns, walls, floors, grids, ducts, pipes, and much more. And all you have to do is predefine the rules in the configuration which can be saved and used in later projects. So here I have configurations for structural framing elements. This is the frame configuration for horizontal, vertical elements, and so on. Okay, so I just opened a wall assembly view, and the whole process is straightforward and user-friendly, as you don't have to set all dimensioning rules in the configuration and create the assembly in order to see the final result. Instead, you can use dimension elements in view function, and the dimensions will be added by chosen configuration. So for example, here I will add assembly configuration. I will dimension it. Yes, and then if you feel the need to make any changes, just use modify dimensions. Do this until you reach the desired result, and all future views will be dimensioned according to your modified configuration as all changes are saved. And now I will go to the frame front view. I will delete these dimensions in view. Yes, and I can dimension these elements in view, and I will choose configuration frame, for example, and I will dimension this view. Yes, and again, I can modify it right now, but for now I will go to the frame and sheeting front view, and let's say I will also dimension these elements, and this time I will use sheeting configuration. And the view will be dimensioned by this configuration. Yeah, as you can see, it's dimensioned. Okay, so now let's say that I've modified my dimensions and I want to create a new assembly with these modified dimensions. So in the shop drawing configuration, I have to set these rules. Here we have a column with dimensioning rule, yes, and here I have to set the rule. So for these two identical walls that I've created and use different view numbers, yes, I will use, for one of them, as I mentioned, I will use sheeting, and for the other one, I will use frame. I will save and close it. So now all our views will be dimensioned automatically. Instead, I don't have to go through every view and click on dimension elements in view. Okay, and I will create these walls that we have just framed, assembly. And now the tool is creating all those views, and it's also adding the dimensioning rules, it's also adding the gravity point, and it's also creating the detail view, and we'll be able to see that in a few seconds. Okay. It takes longer than usual because I'm connected to the GoToWebinar system. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to write them under questions in the GoToWebinar dialog, and I will try to answer them. And as I can see, the assembly is finally created, and this is assembly number 4. So we'll take a look at these views. So we have a 3D view created. We have the assembly front view, and also it's dimensioned with the assembly rule automatically. Also we have a section view, the frame front view, and as you can see, the gravity point was added to this wall automatically, and also all framing members are marked automatically and dimensioned. And here we have a frame and sheeting back view, and here, as you can see, sheeting dimensioning rule was used as all sheeting is dimensioned. But I have an identical view where I dimensioned the framing elements. So that is thanks to the view number column. And here I have the framing sheeting top view, framing plan detail, also the view with the horizontal nailers, and I have a view with the sub-assembly because I used the opening view template for this view. And also I have the view with the vertical siding. This is the material takeoff, the assembly part list, the frame schedule, yes, and the sheeting schedule. And also in the framing configuration, we could have set the sheet template. Yes, so yeah, that's not correct because maybe, yeah, let's see why is that. I have this sheet template, but right here I can see that the title block is too small. And why do we have this situation? I don't know right now. Yes, because of this I made a mistake. Sorry about that, but I don't want to waste your time and create the whole configuration from scratch right now. So let's just imagine, yeah, that it should be like that. I made a mistake, I'm sorry. So the tool creates the layout of the title block according to the template sheet that we set. So I said that this will be the template sheet, and the tool created the same layout as you can see, and also it dimensioned all these frames automatically. And also I haven't showed you the detail view yet, and this is the detail view. I just have to hide walls from this view, so I will hide the walls, and I can see that I have a frame detail view where I can see the grids, the floors, the other walls, and so on. And of course, we can create assembly views for the floor. Yes, here I have assembly views of my floor, and I have a sheet of my floor, and we can create assembly views of the roof panels. And this is a sheet with a roof panel that I've created. And another feature is that we can rotate these panels, and it's extremely helpful for floor or roof panels when in the plan view, let's say, we have a floor. For example, this is a floor number 1. Floor panel number 1. So this is this panel, and as you can see in the plan view, my floor panels joists are vertical. But let's say that in the sheet I want them to appear horizontal. I want this panel to be rotated. So for that, in the shop drawing configuration, oh, I'm sorry, I turned it on for walls, but that doesn't matter, I believe. Yes, in the floor configuration it's the same. So you just have to rotate it clockwise for the floor panels and counterclockwise for the roof panels, and then they will be rotated. So as you can see right here, I have my floor panel with joists placed vertically. Okay. But in the assembly view, this panel is rotated because in the configuration I said that I want it to be rotated, so I can place it in the sheet like so. So yeah, as you can see, there's quite a lot of new features in the shop drawing configuration. So yeah, and that's about it with the live demo. So I just want to mention as well a few things about our tools for BIM doc. And all AGA-CAD developed Autodesk Revit add-ons and BIM solutions are accessible through Tools for BIM doc. It's a new separate dashboard interactive window in Revit that works like the project browser or like the properties window. So all you have to do is go to download this doc. You have to go to agacad.com. You have to select the version you want to download, and that's it. And you'll get to download the doc. So thank you everyone for attending this webinar. Thank you for your time. And I can see that you don't have any questions, but if you do have them now, you can go ahead and write them, or if you will think about your questions later after this webinar, you can just go ahead and write me. Yeah. You can just write me to eva@agcad.com, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. So, okay, thank you again for attending this webinar, and I hope that you found out something new and that you found out something interesting, and I hope that we will meet again.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes. Zagen dat er geen vragen waren. Hartelijk dank voor het luisteren. En als er nog vragen zijn, kunt u inderdaad naar Yves mailen of eventueel via onze supportdesk contact opnemen. En dan zullen wij uw vragen zo snel mogelijk beantwoorden. Yves, thank you and see you later.
Thank you. Goodbye.